So we're talking about in the realm of organized Satanism. We're talking about cults, but cults. This is not a cult like your Jim Jones cult. These are ancient cults. These are cults. By the word ancient, I mean very, very old, many generations. They're not interested in new membership, right? They don't want you to join them. They're not out to convert you to evangelize you into their enterprise. They don't give a rat's rump about you. They raise their own members. They breed them. So they have a collection of breeders. They bring children into the world, the births of whom are unregistered. So no one knows that they live. So these are not people living next door, by and large. They're living out in the country. They're living in a realm by which the neighbors are not going to see the children, or if they see them, they're not going to know that they're unregistered. Or if they do know, they believe they're homeschooled or something like that. These are children that a cult breeds to perpetuate the cult, but also to provide bodies, to provide victims for its sacrifices. The cults use them, and I've encountered numerous examples of this. I've had 3 possession cases where someone has broken free, and this was a person who was used in the production of child pornography. So there were videos filmed, recorded, and sold, and this is one of the ways in which the cult makes money. Now, the interesting thing about this is this: we hear about periodically the authorities discovering a cache of child pornography. We hear about them arresting a ring of the consumers of that type of pornography. And we'll hear about, 87 people were arrested, 14 were lawyers, 23 were teachers, et cetera, et cetera. They release all kinds of statistics, informations, and breakdown numbers with regard to it. But you have never heard them say that they discovered the child actors. Because in terms of the cults, by the time that porn is released, those actors don't exist any longer. Right? They're gone. They're gone. And so this is the visceral nature of that. They've got lots invested in this. And the ones that I met, all 3 of them, were escapees. So they managed to escape. They managed to set themselves free by the skin of their teeth, because every resource that cult could muster up was exerted in trying to capture back these individuals. And all 3 of them were living under assumed identities. They were their identities, and here's the thing: they had to be given assumed identities regardless, because none of them had a birth certificate. Right? None of them had a registered ID with the government. So some of them were called by multiple names, and they didn't understand themselves. Like, I mean, your name is Joe, my name is Carlos. Some of them never had that experience of being known by one name. There was a multitude given to them. So these folks have had just a horrific experience of life, and this is part of the reality that is there. So I felt, we did have episodes in the 80s where there was this kind of phobia that cults were taking over,
out in the wild.
were taking over children's camps and so forth, and apparently much of that was proven to be false. I'm not speaking to that at all. I don't know anything about what happened in the 1980s per se. I'm not an expert in that. I don't have any experience in that, and I don't have a verdict or a judgment by which I feel like I have anything to offer about what was discovered by the authorities or lack thereof. But I will tell you that I do know cults exist. I've been witness to it, and I've had my own retaliation against me by some of them. And it is uh, incredible the damage that has been done to the individuals that have escaped. I mean, they will never live normal lives like what you and I consider normal because their upbringing was so horrific.
For the